Okay, so right now I want to talk about something that seems a little bit odd for what I've been talking about in my previous videos, and which has to do with a theory on women and potential relationships between women and men. And it's a theory I thought of a while back, and I have it written down somewhere, but I don't even know, I don't even remember quite well what it was exactly that I thought. But right now, I'll tell you what I think it is so far. From what, just spontaneously what I remember from it and what I've observed so far. So, the theory is what I call the elegance theory, which is that no matter how much of a potential asset a woman is for a man to a man, it's always based on it's always going to be based on an elegant fundamental. So no matter what, you're always going to come up with a story that's going to seem to have so much purpose to it, and it could even give you an entirely new look on how life is. And this, it's always forms the foundation for a desire to be in a relationship, or I should say a spontaneous desire to be in a relationship. The kind that you're, the typical crush, so to speak. And I've had this when I was 12 and 13, this feeling, even up to age 16. Past 16, I started becoming more realistic, and it just started fading away. I don't know why. Doesn't seem right. But it basically had to do with the fact that perhaps it occurred very, very shortly, or in other words, I suppressed it in time to which it never extended too far. So, for example, I would go for weeks just thinking about one woman, and it was just could not get out of my mind. And it seemed like, filled me with a new purpose for life, and I felt kind of depressed and before, and then so after gave me a new purpose. But when you can be assertive, when you have assertiveness in your life, you don't have to experience that. You don't have to. In fact, it's a burden. It's yoke. It's burden to have crushes in your life. Crushes, so to speak. The ones that you feel spontaneous desire to be with another person, and so. And so usually it's like, hormones get in the way or whatever. But whatever happens, whenever that occurs, it's always some brain chemistry happening. And so as a result, you go through, you make up a story to justify it. It always happens. And but the elegance theory has to do with this. It has to do with the fact that basically, no matter what, the potential assets involved will never happen. They will never happen. It always converges to quite the opposite. So, but the woman wants you to think that she is the best thing for you, and that's because of an evolutionary adaptation, so to speak, where they're always where they've evolved to be this way, and it kind of just cycles through. So it may not happen for one person for a man, but it's an attempt to happen for some, eventually to happen for a man when she's around them. And so by that I mean that if you were to strip this woman of everything that they depend on, and such as somebody who provides them food, money, a place to stay, and in other words, things like that. And if you try to rely on them to be like quote unquote independent, what would happen is it would just be like a dog, like just be a bitch, basically. They would basically be somebody in the corner